Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the Bad League, Bad Pod. I am Zach Fuller. I've returned. My internet is back. Here with my lovely co-host Ben Dunn, who carried the flag for us last week. Ben, how you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm pretty good, man. Yeah, it's nice to have you back. Hopefully I can cut my talking time in half, even though I still talk a lot. I'll do it a lot less with you here. So, welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. It was terrible without internet. Very annoying. First world problems. But we had a race last night at Richmond. Why don't you go ahead and talk about your race? Because I'm not totally sure how it went. I think I only saw you like once or twice on the track.
Yeah, no, it went pretty awful.
Okay.
So, um, what did I bring it home? 11th. Yeah, I didn't qualify. I don't know. I think I said it multiple times in our thing throughout the race. I just felt really uncomfortable all night. Like I just never
Mm.
felt like I had a handle on the car. And I don't know what it was. I was trying different things and I was just eating up tires and not doing well in long runs. So yeah, it was just it was tough. Tough night. Got in a couple incidents, especially towards the end there when there were kind of incidents abundant.
Yeah.
Had a little pit entry incident that was unfortunate,
Mm.
but we don't have to dive too much into that. I think we did a good bit of that last night, and yeah, I'm just I don't know. That's what I got. That's all I got is I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it
It
was
was
it was that long run at the beginning I think caught a lot of people by surprise. I know
that's fun.
I didn't really practice the long runs um like that. I mean, that was like a 9,500 lap run almost probably, so it probably caught a lot of people off guard. Um my race until that caution was going really well. I was running third. Um we got the pole on an oval, so that's fun. I
Yeah, that's good.
believe that's my first one of the season, other than Chicago, but that's not an oval. So and Watkins Glen, but yeah, so that was good to that felt really good to get on the pole. Even though no pole winner at Richmond has ever won the race, and I knew that
Oh
going
wow.
in, and we continued that streak. So um, lost the lead on lap two and never got it back, but was running third with my championship rival behind me, so that felt good. And then Dylan and I pitted on about lap 75, I think. So about, or I think he pitted on 70, I pitted on 75, and Owen and Jack decided to stay out until about a lap 100. I think you could go like 110 or 120 laps or something on fuel. You could go a long way.
Yeah, you could.
But and the tires probably would have lasted that long, honestly. But I think they finally just got tired of it, and they said, "Well, if it does go green, I want to have a chance to chase him back down." So they finally pit, and when they pitted, a caution finally came out. Luckily, Dylan and I were able to get back on the lead lap at that point, but then we had to burn another set of tires. And after that caution, six more followed. So um,
Oof.
it quickly went from a classic spread out tire wear long run strategy CRS race to um, kind of probably what we all expected out of a short track. But for most of it, it was a lot of fun. And then obviously the defining moment for my race was when I was on the best tires going for the lead and for some reason just drove way over my head, got loose, and took out Brandon and Dylan. But they both ended up finishing ahead of me, so I don't feel super bad about that, having known that they finished ahead of me. But that was obviously a stupid moment from myself.
Little whoopsie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going for the win, obviously, you can always like chalk it up to that, but also I think I could have been more patient. There was like 25 laps to go, and I was on the best tires, and I knew that if another caution come out, those guys in front of me were going to pit anyway. So definitely unnecessary, and yeah, come home fourth, not bad, but Dylan finished ahead of me, and he cuts down the gap on second, which is really all I care about at this point. So um, unfortunate, but fourth place is good enough, I guess. We put the got the top five numbers up, so
Yeah,
that's
it became a real battle at the end there. It was really
yeah,
you know, I had a couple chances to be back up there. I went down a lap or so, throughout the race. I think I got lapped just because again I was just so slow. And then once the long run hit, I was very slow. I just looked that first caution did come out lap 96.
mm,
So that was a pretty good long run that we had. Um, I was kind of playing the longer strategy just because I was slow, and I also thought that like if I was going to catch a break, it was going to be someone coming out of the pits and looping it on cold tires.
yeah,
I just didn't wait long enough. I forgot when I pitted, but uh, I think I came in like around 78 or something like that because I was trying to go as long as I could, hoping for that, but then the car just became like undrivable. So, but yeah, at the end there with all those cautions, it really just became like survive and advance,
pretty much.
yeah, you were just where you needed to be when you needed to be there. So that's good on you there. Owen brings home the win of the race.
He does, yeah.
Um,
First
yeah,
oval
first
win
win.
since Talladega last year, so that's I never thought I'd be saying that. Like, um, he's had speed to win at all these ovals that we've been to. I feel like, but yeah, he finally brings it home.
Yeah, he had two incidents, only car that didn't have at least four in the entire race.
Mm,
Yeah, so he kept it clean for sure.
yeah,
And um, seemed like you ran a good race for a while there. It seemed like you three up front were really, going after it for quite a while, especially on that long run, right?
yeah. It was kind of separated between Jack and Owen. They were kind of the two up front, and then me and Dylan were just like a small step behind them. Um, and that's why we pitted a little bit early, I think, to get the jump on them because we could tell they
Hmm.
were staying out. They were staying out, thinking and hoping there was going to be a caution, which fair play. But Dylan and I kind of made the Dylan bit first on the pit stop, and after that, I was like, well, I'm really only racing him, so let me do what he does or near it. And if that thing went green to the end, I think I was probably in the best position because Owen and Jack were going to be so far behind. It was just going to be a question of did they have enough laps to catch us?
Yeah, before the tires kind of level off and
Yeah,
just everybody's running the same. Because for a while, after a while there, it did seem that way. It just
yeah,
they leveled off and felt like everybody's running, the same wear. It feels like you were kind of banking on that.
yeah. Um, but yeah, then the cautions came out, and then they just, as we say, cautions bring cautions. Um,
They sure did.
continuing,
We had 96, 102, 112, 124, 130. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, after that 96, it just we never really got a more than like what felt like a 20 lap run ever since that.
yeah. It kind of turned into one of those. One person definitely to give some flowers to is Brandon Combs. Finished third. I
Yeah,
mentioned
he's running well.
I kind of stepped on it and spun him out, but he ends up coming back to third. He was so good on the long run. On that first long run, he was actually able to get by Dylan probably on like lap 65 or something, which I think is what brought Dylan to pit road, and he was gonna get by me if I had stayed out much longer. So um, Brandon is definitely improving on the tire wear. We've talked about that throughout the season on this podcast. Just like
Yeah.
that's kind of the one thing he needs to improve because he's got a lot of speed, but I
Well,
guess
he
he's
probably
been
felt
working
right
on
at
it.
home last night with how slick that track
Yeah,
was.
honestly, um,
Jeez.
it was a lot of fun, but yeah, it was challenging. A lot of focus needed for that.
Yeah, it was very demanding, but But yeah, so you mentioned we already talked to Owen. You mentioned Brandon in third with Dylan coming second place.
Yes.
Good run by him. I think he was just kind of up front on it. I wish we had our average running position and everything. Shout out to Sim Racer Hub for being weird today. Uh,
I'm blaming iRacing more on that. I think it probably has to
yeah,
do with
you're right.
iRacing with
Everything
all
was
the
fine until
issues.
they had to screw everything up yesterday.
Yeah, so lots of issues with iRacing. We can probably get into that in a little bit, but um, a thing about Dylan, he had his force feedback go out multiple times and then come back
It's
during the race. So
like
I,
every time
I
he pit, I think.
yeah, pretty much. I equate that kind of like in real life when they have the power steering partially go out.
Yeah.
Um, so the fact that he comes back and finishes second is really cool. I think
Or
if
it's like his cooling suit shut off or something.
yeah,
Like,
something like
you
that.
know, he couldn't get water. Like,
Yeah,
like
I think if we had a long run at the end, that probably would have hurt him more. So the cautions definitely help. I don't know if it came back
well, it was
eventually.
weird. Yeah, it was weird. It sounded like to him that it's like as the run went on, it came back a
Yeah,
little bit, like, or you had a little bit better feel, or maybe he just preferred as the run went on to have a little less feedback. I don't know, but either way, it sounded like he got a little bit better with it as the run came on. But
I know that if I had to do that race without force feedback, I would have been crashed about 100 times. So
yeah, I think I would have gone and
um,
helped Aaron with race control.
yeah. Shout out to Dylan, great run.
Yep,
And he was caught
got
up in the mess I had with Brandon. So happy that he was. Anytime I've accidentally taken out Dylan, I think this is like the third time he's finished ahead of me. So um,
nice.
yeah, that's just
Nice.
a
He probably doesn't
strategy he
mind it at
has.
this point.
Yeah. So and then
Um,
Drucker in
you're
fifth.
no,
Oh, you want to?
no, no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, Drucker in fifth. He definitely had. I would say probably the best pace out of anybody. Maybe Owen would argue that, but they those two led almost every lap. Jack leads 81, Owen led 65, and the other three people that led laps combined for a total of 4. So,
Yeah,
um,
that was like pit stuff, I believe.
yeah, pretty
You know,
much.
Brandon went long, and then you guys, took turns pitting early to beat those
Yeah,
other guys. So it seems like that's where that came from.
probably. Well, mine was on lap 1, literally, and that was it. But I
Mm.
can't remember when Dylan led a lap. Uh,
Oh, yeah, that
Maybe he
makes sense.
stayed
Your
out
lap one.
on a pit stop, but um, yeah, I think Jack got actually caught up in the Cody and Austin situation, and that's why he
Ah, yep.
got put back. And luckily, there weren't that many cars in this race, so he's able to come back and finish fifth. So, not a terrible night. I mean, he's already locked up the championship. I know he'd probably like to get another win, but
Yeah,
um, he probably should have won the recruitment race at Kansas that we did before this season. He took 2 tires at the end of it, so that kind of blew it for him. But he's very good at Kansas and those types of tracks, so I'm sure he's got a good chance next week.
yeah. I definitely don't hate his chances next week, but
Yeah,
he'll be fine. But a good, top five comment, kind of like if you would ask me to just pick the top five for um this race prior to it, I would have picked these five guys, and the order just could be whatever. But
yeah,
that's what I would have. You could shuffle that top five a million different ways, and I could see that being the race result. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's so that's we kind of got what we expected there. You guys are quick. You guys got a handle on it. And yeah, it seemed to run a good race. So again, there, congrats to Owen on the win. Everybody else for finishing our top five here. Um,
yeah. And that's the top 5 in points as well. So
oh yeah, that's right. You had mentioned that
yeah,
last night.
um,
Yep.
that's I'll have to go back and look and see how often the top 5 in points finish top 5 in the race. I don't know how I
We have
can
a lot of
look at
goofy
that, but
stats to go look up for the off season.
yeah, definitely.
We have a. All right, well, let's get ourselves into the Combs polls here. See what everybody thought this week. So we started off. He added a new one this week. I noticed. Was this a
Yes,
good race?
the Jeff Gluck poll.
Um, yeah, I should really be. I should really start keeping track of these to use these to help determine scheduling and whatnot. But 67% said yes. 12 people voted on it, so 12 of our 14 or 12 of our 13 voted, and 8 of them said yes, and 4 said no. So let's make fun of the 4 people. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but but yeah, no, seems like majority thought this was a pretty good race, even with the track being so difficult and kind of being a shit show at the end. 67% good race is a good result, I think.
Yeah, I voted yes because of the early part.
Hmm.
Um,
That's
and
what I did as
because
well.
yeah, I mean it was fucking hard to drive. Like,
Yes,
um, and that's fun, you know. It's
and to manage as well. Like it was not only just hard to drive, but it was hard to drive and like keep the car
yeah,
in a condition that you can keep driving and getting good laps.
you had to be really
Uh,
disciplined.
Thing was
And
fucking tough on exit, man. We dude, there were times where that thing was so squirrely. I mean, yeah, I believe you said it multiple times in when we were practicing, but like felt like you weren't flat out until you got to the start finish line off four. There were
pretty
times
much,
where, I'm trying to get full throttle off of two or something like that, and I mean, like at one point I had to save one that I just tried to get full throttle in the backstretch and it broke loose like in the middle of the backstretch because
yeah,
it was just that sensitive. There's times where I'm tank slapping down the front stretch because I'm just trying to get to full throttle and hold it out there as wide on that wall as I can to get, the biggest runoff that I can. And
hmm
I'm sitting there tank slapping the wall and wiggling all over the place because I'm just trying to get to full throttle. Like it was a handful, man. It was wild.
yeah. It was fun to drive. And we don't.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't get a lot of that um, week to week, just because most of the time on the short tracks where we have a chance for that, they don't go green like it did last night. So
Hmm.
it was refreshing, and yeah, 67
Also, that's
percent. I
just
don't
like
know.
a
I feel like that's about right.
Yeah. Also, that's just like a really fun short track. Like it's not like
Yeah,
it's not one of those ones where you really got to brake really hard or whatever. It's all about momentum and trail braking and like there's it takes some patience to drive around that track, especially in the way that it was last night with how hot it was and how that car was set up. It was
yeah,
really took a lot of patience to get yourself around there. But yeah, I voted yes as well, just because again the early run was a lot of fun, even though I had a all over the place shit show race. Um, it still seemed like it was a good race with the guys up front and for other people who weren't struggling as much. So um, yeah, it's good stuff. And we go straight from good race to our driver of the week poll. Quite a few people received some votes this week, but Dylan actually took home the most, more than our winner, one more vote than our winner. Dylan had 5 votes for driver of the week. Owen had 4. So those are our 2 drivers of the week, with Dylan taking that home.
yeah. I would assume that probably has to do with the force feedback issues, um,
Yep. That's kind of my thought behind that as well.
because most of these votes, other than Owen, all of the votes are people from our quiet chat, and Dylan actually voted for himself, so that's fun.
Tie.
Um,
Did Owen vote for himself? Owen didn't vote for himself. Tie.
uh, yeah,
Yep.
I guess it
Results
is a tie.
changed. Yep. Tie 4-4.
Um,
Um,
yeah, but I mean, they both drove great. I will say,
yeah.
like,
Flip a
um,
coin and give it to either one of them.
I think
I mean, Owen did win it though.
he did. Dylan, like, if he doesn't have those force feedback issues, I do think he's like way more dominant.
Yeah.
Although in the first run, it seemed like his tires kind of fell off a good amount, but there was also some things like on top of his like force feedback going in and out. People were saying the Moza wheels were like with this update, the force feedback was completely different. So that I think that
Yeah.
actually played into it as well. Him not being like how he usually is, like super good at saving tires and then kind of passes everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that had to do with it as well. So just a weird day for iRacing in general.
Couple other guys picked up some votes. BC had a self vote,
Yep,
so congrats to him on the self vote.
nice job.
Let's see. Austin picked up a vote, and Brandon picked up one. I voted for Brandon. He ran a good race. It seemed like
Yeah, he definitely did.
so.
Yep.
So yeah, then we roll straight into our tough luck of the week, which overwhelmingly Judd dominated. I'm sure he doesn't want to dominate this poll, but he did. 7 votes, 64% of the vote. I'm guessing. I think he
I
got
don't.
caught up in that late incident, right?
I guess so. I think he got caught up in a couple,
Yeah.
which is kind of indicative of how his season has gone.
Yep. Yeah, I know that one of the
It's
times I went around, I got it. I got him. I saw a target. I saw the side of his car as I hit it. as I was spinning.
It's been a weird season for Judd. Like last season, he was in contention for the championship all year, 3 wins, and this season has just been bad luck race after bad luck race. I mean, um, if I'm looking at this race right, it looks like he's only really had like 3 or 4 top fives. So hopefully
Yeah.
he can bounce back next season. He's definitely better than these results are showing. But if these tough luck polls went for the whole season, he'd probably win a lot of them, I think.
Yeah, that's Jack picked up some votes as well. I believe that also happened had to do with some late incidents
Yep.
or something like that.
hmm
And for some reason, I got a vote.
Oh yeah, Dylan voted for you. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
Uh,
the pit road thing.
oh, true,
Yeah.
true. Don't worry, I was already way out of it at that point anyway. So, I mean, you know what, I was okay, but I had to use a fast repair, so I had to race the rest of the race delicately.
Yeah.
Um, Last but not least, the always favorite idiot of the week.
This is brutal. Like I get it, but yeah, I'll let you go ahead.
17 won that one. I'm guessing it has to do with the pit road incident. Just looks like a last minute decision to pit and then to not pit and he didn't realize there were 3 people behind him that were ready to pit. And a little checkup rear ending happened. I launched BC about 9 feet in the air,
Yeah,
going like 11 miles an hour. I don't know how that happens. Pretty impressive stuff.
that was
But
fun.
I think I might have been going actually like 20 or something because I had a hard time seeing what was happening in front of me because I was just following close, expecting, we're all going down pit lane. So I'm going to, stay tight because I want to try to beat these guys. Um, Let me word this properly. Beat these guys off.
Mm,
Anyway, so I'm not even gonna
CRS,
finish
man.
it. I'm just gonna leave it there. Um, and yeah, but yeah, so I was just following close and hoping that we were just going, and that's all that happened, and I didn't have time to react as much as I wanted to, and got into him. So, yeah, so Sabatino wins that one. Again, not one that you want to win, but congrats anyway. Uh, and Roten picks up 2 votes. I guess only 2 people remembered. Only Owen and I seem to remember that he was that he thought shifting into third was a good idea in practice.
That was really
Uh,
funny. Um, he's
he
like,
was
"Wait,
like,
you guys aren't shifting? Like
it
it
was
was
even
just a
better
given."
because it started with, I think I'm gonna stop. I think I'm gonna switch from the H pattern to
Yeah.
like paddles, and we're like, why?
Yeah.
And then he explained that he's downshifting into third. So so yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
Good
funny
job,
stuff.
Roten.
Funny stuff.
That's the true winner in my heart.
Yeah, I think
17 was new to iRacing,
yeah,
and
I was
it
gonna
was an
say
honest
like
mistake. I don't think it was. There's nothing egregious there. It was an honest mistake.
yeah, it's
One
one
thing
of
that I
those.
doubt Sabatino did at all last night was put the car in third gear for a turn. So,
Yeah, and Roden's been on this game for a while, so um, I mean, yeah, that's I'd have no explanation for that. The thing with Sab is like, I think we got to cut him some slack here. He
yeah,
has to win idiot of the week for that,
of
but
course.
it's part of like your learning process in this thing, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
he's new to iRacing and he's doing a league race with a bunch of like B class or A class drivers who have been
yeah.
doing this
People have had
for
this game
years.
forever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I mean, obviously you have to win idiot of the week for that, but that doesn't mean like, you suck. It's just you're new to this
yeah,
and you're learning,
exactly.
and that's feel like that's one of the hardest things, a very underrated thing to learn about iRacing is all the procedural stuff like pitting, restarts,
Yeah,
like when you can pass the pace, like all this stuff is very it's
yeah, and
difficult to tell somebody who's new to the game like all the stuff you have to know, even just like stopping in the pit box, like it's
yeah.
all very very nuanced.
Yeah, one of the best ways to learn a lot of that shit is to just screw it up,
Yeah.
right? Is to do something. I've done countless things that are stupid in my time on iRacing, and that's how I learned. Oh wait, I I screwed that up. I shouldn't do
Yeah,
that there. Whoops. And like, it happens, right? It's happened to all of us. Um,
definitely.
so
And I
yeah, I
doubt
think
he'll
I
make the
think
same mistake again.
yeah, I think podcast consensus, we're overturning the vote. Idiot of the week, Roten, congratulations.
Yes.
You got it. Make sure you test out third gear at Kansas next week as well. I think that'll probably help you out
I just don't like at Martinsville. Was he
on entry.
shifting?
I don't think so. I hope not.
I mean, yeah, I have no words for that.
It's good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Race control picked up 2 votes as well. One of them was Aaron, so really it was just one race control vote.
It's the
I
continued
was.
Mickey Mouse beef between those two.
Apparently I've become a staple in this thing. I'm surprised I didn't get any because I feel like I drove like an idiot last night. So I just about voted for myself, but uh, I don't do that. I'm
No
a
self
true.
votes.
I think I've done it like 2 times already, but
I
but
think you
not
can vote for
anymore. Not
yourself on
anymore.
Idiot of the Week.
That's true. That's true. If you feel like an idiot,
Yeah, I mean,
vote for
I
yourself as the
nominated
idiot.
myself for Idiot of the Week because I took out the poll maker, and I was assuming he was going to put me on there, but he didn't, so I got lucky with that. But um, yeah, those were the Combs polls.
Yeah, let's
Um,
get into standings.
let's do it. Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Jack obviously locked up the title. Congrats to him. I didn't get to say my piece last week, but ran a great season. Really had it locked up. I would say probably around like Dover. With that win at Dover, I felt like after that it was going to be really hard to catch him. So, um, yeah, just I mean, outstanding season, and definitely deserved the title there. The question of who is second though is very much still up in the air. Um, Dylan 5 wins, myself with 3, but I guess I have a higher average finish and less finishes outside of the points. Um, it's 11 points between myself and Hoffman going
Yeah.
into Kansas, so I did not do the scenarios and stuff, but we will have that before the race
And
next
that
week.
if you look, I mean, we've talked about this chunk of the points like all season. Unfortunately, it's now coming to the point where that's like between 2 and 7. That's really the only battle that's left there. That's close. The rest of them are pretty gapped out and would
Yeah,
take some pretty miraculous stuff to overcome. So it's gonna be fun to see you two guys, just because I mean you guys have been racing each other all season and
yeah,
especially the last couple weeks. So that's gonna be it's gonna be a good time. And the best part is that all of us below you are going to try and get in the way of all that. And and but the second to seventh is kind of spaced out now. A lot of
yeah.
big gaps in there.
With
I
Christian
can
not showing
maybe
up on Tuesday, that
yeah
pretty much locked up fifth for Brandon, I think.
yeah
Christian's basically going to have to win the race, and Brandon's going to have to be really, really bad. So,
yeah
um,
and then for like Brandon's going to have to win the race. And like if let's say 15 cars show up and Owen finishes dead last, it looks like Brandon's gonna have to get pole and a race win. No, actually just a race win. And nope, pole and a race win. Sorry,
yeah,
I was wrong. But yeah,
pole
to
race win and maybe fastest lap.
yeah, so he's got some work to do. And that's if that's like I said, if Owen finishes dead last in a
15
race with
plus.
15 people,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
that's somewhat unlikely. Seventh and eighth, I got a little bit of a chance to get Judd back.
yeah.
But that's it's
I mean, if Dylan has a chance to catch me, which he definitely does,
yep.
you have a chance to catch Judd.
Yeah, I gotta just
That
go out
gap
and
is
have a
very
good
similar.
race. I I really enjoy Kansas, so and I feel like I'm pretty good on the mile and a halfs. And looking at my last 4 weeks, I could really use a rebound to end the season. So, um, just my whole second half of the season in general. Just when it's bad, it's bad. When it's good, it's pretty damn good. So, that sums that up. But I got to try and do all that and hold off Roten as well, who's gotten a lot better this season. And even Austin's only 13 points behind me.
Yeah,
So I got to go out and make sure not only am I going to try and catch Judd, I'm probably not going to care too much about Judd as I am these other two, just because those margins are a lot smaller,
yeah,
especially to Roten. And Austin has the same gap to me that I have to Judd. So It's definitely possible. It's a little sketchy. I don't like it. I don't like it. I was in a much better spot a few weeks ago and
Yeah,
just shit the bed. So whatever. It's okay.
you finished ninth last season, so um, either way, it's an
N-
improvement as long as you can keep eighth
Yeah,
and maybe get up to seventh. Um,
maybe.
Judd has obviously had some bad luck this season, so I guess that's probably what you're banking on, as well as a good run from you, which we know you do have a good run on a mile and a half in you. It's just gotta
Yeah.
all come together. Yeah, and then you mentioned Roden and Austin. That one I think could get a little bit spicy
Yeah.
between those two on a mile and a
I
half.
like it.
Like, um, they will obviously know the point situation. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to see those two
Yeah,
race.
they're gonna be laying it all out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know we're not talking about Kansas right now, so we'll bring it up later. But I don't know if this will be a long, drawn out race like we have at mile and a half sometimes because of all the point situations. But other than that, the one I see as well is Cody and Donnelly for 11th. I know Cody probably doesn't want to finish 12th. Probably rather finish 11th. So, how did Donnelly get so far down the points? Oh, because he
I
hasn't
think he's
shown up.
missed a couple
Yeah,
races.
he's
Yeah,
missed a
he's
couple, and the ones that he
yeah.
has been, he's had some bad luck with. So,
Yeah, he's had
yeah,
his yeah, he didn't drop that many, good races.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's missed 4 races as well, so that's because he
Yeah.
was
So
right
yeah,
around you for most of the season.
he took a little zero this week, so that hurts, but hopefully we'll see him back next week and I'm sure he'll run well. He always runs well there.
Yeah, and then Aaron might want to try and beat Jared, so I don't know if that's real or if that was just a meme. But if he races, then um, he'll need 6 points to beat Jared, so that's great. Um, Actually, he'll need 7 because of the tiebreaker. But yeah, anything else jump out in the points to you?
No, not really. Gonna be like I said, gonna be fun to watch the key battles. It's kind of cool that there's only a few
Yeah,
key things to watch.
yeah, and then
And
everybody else who's not in a battle is just going to be going for the win. So
yeah, and it was really set up for a pretty dicey finish, and then it all just kind of the last couple weeks just kind of fell apart. So, um, whatever. It's like you said, a lot of people just going to be going for wins, which should be a lot of fun, especially at a place like Kansas where there's room and speed, and
different
it can
strategies.
yeah, we can get right into Kansas right now. So,
Let's do it.
um, you know, just a great mile and a half track. I believe it's a nighttime race too. It's going to
Yep.
be a beautiful evening. People are going to be gambling away at the casino. We're going to
Mm.
be out there putting on a show.
Yeah. If you remember when I went to Kansas, that casino was kind of the home base for our group. Um, we'd eat breakfast there and have Bloody Marys every day. So
Yeah,
in the
that's good
virtual
stuff.
world, that's what I'm gonna be having for the weekend. 7 races there in the past, 4 cautions per race on average. Um, so
That's
yeah, I
not bad,
mean,
man.
yeah,
We've
not
never
terrible.
had a
The
double
most
digit.
the most we've ever had is 7 in a race. So,
Yeah,
but
and
I
that
don't
was
think we've ever had
that
it
was
this
our
late in the season.
that was in the trucks too. So that was in our season where we kind of bounced through different cars.
Yep.
So everyone was a little edgy that season anyway. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Last
Um,
season only two though, which is pretty wild.
yeah, and the trucks. Yeah, Judd ended up winning that one. That was I remember that race. Um, Judd just completely like whooped our asses for
Hell
whatever
yeah,
reason. I mean,
good for him.
he was so good that race. The gap was only 1.9 to Owen at the end, but I think that was on a long run, and Judd just had the better strategy and just yeah. I mean, he cooked all of us. So
Yeah, I see he led the most laps, average running position 2.1, 141.8 driver rating.
yeah,
So he had a great time out here. Hopefully he can come out and do that well in the Xfinity car. Maybe go try to get a win to turn his season around. Really end on a good note there.
yeah, that would be
He's
a great way to carry momentum into the next season.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. We've had four different winners at the track. Owen has 4 wins of our 7. Um, he who shall not be named has a win,
Mm,
and Dylan has a win as well. So, um, we've had some good. I keep looking at this season 9 22 lead changes. Phew, that's I mean that kind of sums up the trucks that race in there though. They're pretty drafty. You can
Yeah.
see also we had 14 in the trucks in season 11, which was also yeah. So that's a pretty drafty track. I don't think it's going to be that much like that here. I think early on you'll have a lot of grip and be able to go run some pretty fast laps, but um, I think once that fades, then it's going to turn into kind of like a typical mile and a half.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see with the nighttime, the high versus the low line, because we've had a couple races this year where in daytime, or I'm sorry, in nighttime, the bottom has actually been preferred at tracks where typically the high line is
Yeah. Homestead.
equal to or just yeah, exactly. Homestead's a great example of that. Charlotte, a lot of guys were practicing running high at Charlotte, and the bottom line seemed to really be the dominant one there. So that'll be kind of cool to watch to see who goes where and what works and what doesn't. Um, I think it's just a straight up night race. I don't think it is a sunset, so we won't have to deal with any of those. Actually, nope. I'm sorry. It is going to start with a little bit of daylight and
Okay.
then work its way into the sunset. So we will have a little transition. So that's going to require some. It could require some people to figure out, hey, what works early on in the daytime, what works in the evening when the sun goes down. Um, Part of me thinks that bottom lane's gonna be pretty good. It's usually pretty good for saving tires down there
Yeah.
versus the guys who are running up top. Um, and yeah, I really look forward to Kansas. I like this track a lot. I think it's a good season ender.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel like a lot of times we have Charlotte at the end. So I was surprised to see Kansas as the final one, but I feel like it's really fitting because it's probably the best mile and a half.
Yeah,
I would think it
uh, you know,
in my opinion.
unlike some other racing series, we're not afraid around here to move the final race, the finale.
Right.
We're not afraid to move it to places where we think racing is going to be really good instead of just keeping it at the same place year after year.
Right.
I mean, we sell out crowds everywhere we go, so it doesn't really matter attendance wise
Yeah.
anyway. So, you know,
I mean,
um,
what can you say?
yeah, we're just better. I think that's all I can say.
Yeah. Better than
That's all I
NASCAR,
got.
F1,
Yeah,
Formula E. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
um, yeah. So I don't know if I have that much left on Kansas. I
track
will
record
say,
could be broken.
oh, what's
That's for
our?
sure.
Let me see here.
Another he who shall not be named, a different
Ooh,
one has it right now in the Xfinity Series. So I challenge everybody to go out and beat that. Uh,
I have
because
to
yeah,
imagine. That's. Let's see. Does
I
it
can't,
say
I
what
can't tell
time it
what
was?
what. No, that's what I was looking for,
Yeah.
and I can't tell. But it's cold, 67 degrees, so that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, but
That's probably a pretty grippy track.
the Xfinity car is a lot different, I think, than it was then. So
Yeah,
we'll either be way ahead or way behind, I would assume, uh, just with all the changes and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. I feel like the lanes are going to be somewhat even because of the
hmm
night. Um, so it'll be one to watch. I think we have our guys who kind of generally run the high line, and then we have our guys that are kind of the bottom feeders. So I'm excited to see who does what, and I feel like the high line in Kansas is just so dominant though. Like last season in the trucks, the high line was the only place you could run.
yeah.
Like the low line didn't even work, and that was why it was pretty hard to pass. But Judd just like dominated because he was able to pass, and then I think he had the right strategy as well. But um,
We have a cool little stat that I'm looking at here. All our guys who have at least 6 starts, at least 6 of the 7 starts, all our guys are that have done that are averaging over a 100 driver rating, which I think is pretty cool.
okay,
If we go down to 5, then it includes you and Dylan is over 100. So all the guys, who a major and the other 3 guys who have 5 starts are, you know, have really good driver ratings as well. So all the guys who have experience at this track seem to run it pretty well. So that I think is going to make for a great race with the fact that everybody seems to run well here.
yep,
Um, I think that's going to make for a pretty damn interesting race. in my opinion. We have some pretty cool stats looking through here, at our time at Kansas. I think it's going to be I think it's a perfect track for us for the finale. I know we kind of wish there were some more points to things at stake, but still going to be a good finale. I think it's going to be a good time.
Hey, season long points. Sometimes this is how it goes, but this is how it should be.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah. So, do we want to talk a little bit about this postseason banquet thing, or we want to save that for next week for some of the details on that?
We'll save it for next week. I'm currently working on a little peel back the curtain a little bit. Is it Judd and Owen are handling the racing portion of it? Sounds like they've got most of it under control.
Okay.
So we'll reiterate that next week once everything gets finalized. And then myself, I'm working on. Um, so I'm going to do like we did in the past, a little PowerPoint with some little presentation, that we can all sit and run through and just kind of highlight some things from the season, hand out some awards.
Nice.
I'm coming up with a list of awards that will be voted on, and I'll send a form out to everybody in the league, like a little Google form, and have everybody submit their answers. And we'll have some votes that are just kind of based off of numbers and stuff like that, and then other votes that other people get to vote on to help decide who wins what awards. So I've got a little presentation plan. It's gonna be a little more detailed than ones in the past because we have a lot more data at our hands now than season 6 when I was just kind of like, hey, you won the most
Right.
races, good job. So just I got some kind of cool stuff in mind. I've already got the PowerPoint thing in progress. I've already got a lot of stuff in there, so I just have to fill that out. And also, it's kind of cool because what I used to do is take photos when, like, we would get weekly Jared, super high quality photos. And then once he wasn't, racing with us for a while, we didn't have these cool photos. Jack has now kind of stepped in and been our photo guy. So I got a lot of cool photos to add
Yes.
to the show as well to kind of, show off some, not only talk about the highlights of the season, but show off some cool shots from the year. And everybody, they'll bring back some memories of, oh, this is what happened in this picture where BC's car is 12 feet in the air, like, stuff like that. So so yeah, we'll have a good time. Again, the Tuesday after the season finale, so not this upcoming Tuesday, but the one afterwards.
Cool. Well, yeah.
More
We'll.
details to come.
Yeah. I guess after we recap Kansas next week, we can look forward to that.
Yeah,
Cool. Well, let's get into some real racing. Um,
it's a good weekend, man.
yeah. Big crowd. Both days. I felt like.
Yeah,
Um,
the truck crowd was pretty good.
yeah. That was pretty. Um, like opposite of what Corey LaJoy was saying the Truck Series was, which I thought was poetic in his first start of the season.
He did.
Um,
He did. I think he did go back on that before this started. I believe.
yeah, he had a weird comment about. Did you see his analogy he made?
No. Oh yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
weird
with the
TikTok thing. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't. You know what? I just heard that this morning on DVC. Actually, I heard them going into detail about it, and
yeah, very odd. Also,
yeah, I
he
don't.
said that when he made those comments about the Truck Series, he was on a 5 day fast, which is maybe
That was the big thing they were making fun of him on DVC is
yeah.
that everything they do from now on when they screw up, they're just gonna say they were fasting.
I think that's a good excuse to
Yeah, sorry, I
use.
haven't eaten food in 5 days.
Yeah.
You're right. It is pretty good.
It's definitely a choice to do a 5 day fast before the fucking biggest race of the year when you have to do a lot of media obligations.
Yeah, I wonder if
So,
he knew. Oh yeah, I guess that was the Daytona week that he said that.
yeah, that was like the
Yeah,
media
that's
week. So,
yeah. I mean,
definitely a
like, dude, you're gonna
choice.
lose 9 pounds during the race. Like, what do you need to fast for?
Yeah. Uh,
Like,
I don't know. Yeah, interesting choice, but um,
understandably a clouded mind, but yeah,
yeah. The truck
that
race
race was
was
kind of it was cool until it like wasn't at the
yeah.
very end there.
It was kind of like our Richmond race. Like it was fucking awesome until it wasn't, and then it turned into a shit show.
Yeah, I don't know
Um,
how Stuart Friesen came from. I mean, he was like with like 10 to go or something like that. He was like 16th or 17th place, and all that happens, and he wins the race. Like it's
yeah,
just that's wild. I mean, good win for him. It's been a while since I've seen him win a race.
yeah, definitely.
Um,
I mean, it was fun. I don't know why the first three guys took the outside on that restart. And then Stewart is just like, okay, I'll take the front row, and then he just wins the race. So, interesting choices from people to say the least.
Yeah,
Uh,
very, very interesting.
Before that race, though, we had the Ram announcement.
Yeah,
Um,
that was one of the more exciting things from the truck race.
yeah,
Even though we didn't see it coming. I mean, geez, it's not like everything was leaked the entire week before.
yeah, it was a
Can we
bummer.
just get a good surprise nowadays? Why does everything have to get leaked?
I
Pisses me
mean,
off.
yeah, I don't know how you fix that. I mean, other than
Right?
just
I mean, with the internet, you can't. But you know,
well, it was leaked on that YouTube video, I guess. And on the teardown, they were saying like, "Oh no, we knew this for weeks, but we agreed not to announce it."
yeah.
Like,
I mean, it makes sense they wanted to do it in Michigan.
I guess, but I mean, Jordan's kind of point on there was, I think it was Jordan. He was like, "Why not do it before the Cup race? Like, why?"
Well, true.
Oh no, they did do it before the Cup race.
Yeah, yeah, they did. Yeah,
They
yeah.
did do it before the Cup race. Why not do it before the truck race? I guess they wanted the crowd, but um,
Yeah, and it to be on the the main broadcast.
they were on the truck race was on Fox, on Big Fox.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess they wanted it with the prime, which is the main coverage
Yeah, I
for
guess.
you know.
Yeah, but
But
it's exciting. I mean, they should be coming to Cup in a few years. We think maybe with one of the
dude,
brands.
it's crazy to me to see like the when they show the video of it driving around Darlington and then they put it on the front stretch next to the other Rams. Like pickup
Yeah,
trucks have gotten so massive that this thing looks absolutely like microscopic next to them.
yeah,
Like like a while back, the trucks were kind of like, somewhat close.
yeah,
It wouldn't make like, back like go back, I don't know, 20 years and put a truck series Silverado next to a Silverado in 2005, and it's probably a lot closer in size than it is
yeah.
now. Like these things are so massive nowadays that this thing looks absolutely just tiny in between them. It's hilarious.
It is. But yeah, I'm excited to see what brand they
Now,
would bring to the Cup Series.
right now, do you think it's Dodge, or there's all these rumors going around about Honda, but then there's like like there's these rumors going around about a fifth manufacturer. So I don't think if Dodge throws a Cup car out there, I don't think that rumor would be a thing, right? Like because that would still just be a fourth, right? There's all these rumors about this Honda stuff going on, but then like
I think Honda is probably considering it pretty heavily, or like Hyundai. But
yeah, my thing is
both
like
of
they don't make a
those,
V8,
yeah, they wouldn't have a V8. They'd probably have like a twin turbo V6 or something. Which
which I don't know.
how do you feel about that?
I don't know.
I I mean,
My I mean my
wouldn't that
biggest
be
fear is a real fear, which is that they would come in and it not be a performance issue, it'd be a cost thing, and then teams and manufacturers see, oh, like they're still running really well and it's costing much less, and then I don't want to see the V8 die because of that. That's my biggest fear,
okay?
and it's
I
like a
hadn't thought
crazy
about
fear
that.
to have, but my fear is, yeah, like what if Honda comes in and this twin turbo V6 is great and it's like, what I don't understand too is like that engine naturally would probably be better on gas, right? Like
Well, they would have to
so
like that
like
would be part of the like balance of power, I guess, like
yeah,
the
which is crazy to
ratios.
think they would do that in NASCAR. Like that's a crazy sentence to think of, that like, oh, they have to do bop in
I don't know. I think
NASCAR. Yeah,
I hadn't
balance
thought about
performance
the
power.
other people, the other manufacturers like ditching the V8. I feel like that wouldn't happen though because like I don't know, maybe with Chevy, but
Yeah.
with Toyota and Ford, like well, no, Chevy also because they make trucks. Like
I mean, they're all locked in anyway. Like they get this, but that's just like a crazy far fetched fear that I have. But
I think it'd be
um,
interesting to see like on certain tracks, like um, if we go to Martinsville or something and the V6 is not very good, but then we go to
yeah,
Michigan and it's really good, and maybe it does get a little bit better gas mileage. Like I don't know.
right.
I think it'd just be
Yeah,
more talking points. Like it'd be
I think
interesting.
like I think I would also echo what Freddie said on DBC, which is just the whole idea of having to introduce the balance of performance. Is it performance or power? I never
I
know.
don't know.
It's
I
one of
don't know.
those. But having to do that, I think, just kind of opens up a can of worms that like I just don't feel that NASCAR needs to get into
Well, they
with
kind of do
trying
that
to
with the
regulate
aero
that.
stuff anyway, right?
Yeah, but like when it comes to like we're talking like a whole someone's running an entire different engine. Like Like that's crazy.
I guess
Yeah,
it's
I don't
like,
know.
what do you want more? Do you want them all like all to have the same engine and not get more manufacturers, or do you want more manufacturers?
I don't know actually. Um,
Because if that's the
I
only
think
way
I think
that
there's a
Honda or
possibility
Hyundai
of.
come in, then you
Yeah, I
know,
think also. Well, for me also, it's like I feel like there are manufacturers out there who still make V8s and have that ability who could take that spot. So I don't know. Who knows?
I guess Nissan probably
You
still
know,
makes a V8 for their truck, right?
Nissan, Volkswagen probably is.
Volkswagen does
Volkswagen
a
has
V8?
well, I mean, throughout their whole entire family of
Oh, fair enough. Yeah,
you know companies they own.
that'd be interesting to do
Um,
Volkswagen and NASCAR. Good lord.
that'd be sick. Give me a Passat
Fucking
Cup car.
yeah,
Oh man,
a Jetta.
I'm so down. Dude, please. That or I mean, like, because like, so it's funny. I love thinking about that when we talk about manufacturers. Like, okay, so what? So Honda brings what the Accord,
Yeah,
like, interesting. Or do they like? No, they don't do that. Never mind. But like, yeah, the Accord. Are they gonna make it Acura? Make it the Integra? Um,
that would be cool.
like Volkswagen, the Passat or the Jetta, like Nissan. What are we gonna run Maximas? Like that'd be hilarious. A Maxima Cup car. Hyundai Sonata Cup car. Like
Yes,
just the thought
yes,
of these manufacturers coming in makes hilarious stuff to me. Now I'm not gonna lie, an Audi A4. Hmm.
yeah.
That probably look pretty good.
So with the
Lexus,
Stellantis,
but that's Toyota still.
yeah, with the Stellantis brands, it is Alfa Romeo, Chrysler,
Oh,
Dodge, Jeep. I guess you could throw Maserati in there, and
oh,
those are the
dude.
American brands. They have a lot more like brands that they sell in Europe. Fiat as well, I guess you could put in there. But
An Alpha Giulia. I mean, that car looks amazing to begin with.
yeah, I
That
I would say
that's
probably the most likely is Alfa Romeo or Chrysler.
Chrysler would
I
be
mean,
interesting.
you got Dodge as well, which is the obvious choice, but it seems
Yeah,
like they're not really
I'm.
they're
I
not
mean,
really
like
tied to that.
new Chargers just look like cup cars to begin with. Like on the road, they look like a
Yeah,
damn
agreed.
cup car. Like
But I thought they
it's
stopped doing the
perfect.
Charger.
Oh, maybe I don't know. Or was it the
A
Challenger?
Chrysler 300 Cup car.
Oh God, that'd be sick. That
um,
would that would be hilarious.
yeah, there'd be a lot of memes there.
But that flat front end, it would be a pretty good super speedway car though. It'd be a
Yeah.
great pusher with
Um,
that kind of flat front end it has. Anyway,
exciting
cup
stuff.
race. Yeah, which dude? I mean, I thought the cup race was amazing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Um,
Yeah,
I watched the first half at the house, so I was pretty locked in, and then after stage two, I went to a slip and slide party. So
nice.
I watched the end of it on my phone, but um, yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, Michigan's really underrated for this car, I think. Um, can't remember what podcast it was on, but it was kind of like, I think it was probably DVC. They were talking about how this is it's kind of like an old super speedway almost.
Yeah.
Handling really matters, the draft matters, but
Speed
um,
also so important.
yeah, I mean,
I
it was
remember
fun.
like one of the things I really liked too is I think it was like as they were coming around their last pace lap, like Steve Letarte was talking about like this is the track where you find out your benchmark. He's like, because you're mile and a half this, short track, blah blah blah. He's like, this is the track where it all matters. The mile and a half aerodynamics, the just raw power and speed that you need. Like he's like, this is the track where you kind of figure out where everybody sits. And I think it kind of proved to that. It was a big air game, but like it was really enjoyable. Like that's one of the rare times where like the aero was like really really cool to see people racing and using it to their advantage. Guys that were coming up, almost giving like slide jobs coming off 1 and 2, just to get in front of them and create a little wiggle for the guy they're trying to cut off and hold off down the entire backstretch. It's like there's a lot of cool stuff that happened. A lot of jostling and restarts are always wild nowadays, but so that's nothing new. But they were good. It was like the whole race, just front to back, was fantastic. It was short too.
Yeah,
It's under 3 hours. It's like 2 hours and 48 minutes or something like that.
yeah, not a whole lot of like big wrecks to kind of slow it down. Even with the red flag, though, I mean,
Yeah,
it was not a long drawn out race.
I mean, there
Um,
were 7 cautions, so, like, and, let's see, 2 of them were stage 1 and stage 2, obviously, but then the others were, you know, cautions in the race, so it's not like it was just, like, a caution-free race that flew and we only had, like, stage cautions, like, it wasn't one of those, like, it was there was still some stuff that happened, but
I think
yeah,
Dale
2
said
hours,
it.
48 minutes, and 28 seconds, or
y-
20 seconds.
Yeah, I think Dale said it on the race. Like he said, this race always flew by for him. Because it's only 200 laps, and each lap is 30 seconds. So
37, yeah, 37.3 was the fastest, so I would say,
okay, yeah,
average around 38,
yeah. If it
maybe?
runs green the whole time, which it doesn't from stages, but if it does, we're looking at 120 minutes,
Yeah.
right? So 2 hours. Um, so yeah, it's a quick race. I mean, but yeah, I thought it was great. Maybe one of the better races we've had this year.
Yeah, I
Um,
thought it was cool, like, I think, like, people kinda made us think about it at first when we saw the schedule and saw they pulled Michigan out of the playoffs, but I kinda like it being out here because there's nothing else like it now that California's gone, so,
yeah,
like, I don't know that you need to have, like, a unique, like, one-off style track in the playoffs, right? For me, the playoffs should be, like, your tracks where you either go twice a year or or tracks that are similar to what you have in the regular season. Like whereas this is just one of these, so I think it was like perfect where it was right here. Once a year, they had a great crowd. Um, I do still wish we had that other beautiful track that was that was just like this.
yeah. On the topic of that, this is not related to Michigan, but it is NASCAR news. You refer to that track as California,
Yeah,
um, but I always called it Auto Club, and they just renamed Atlanta to Echo Park Speedway.
yeah.
Okay, so
People
and
made a
then we've
big
had
stink about that
we've
for some
had
reason.
ISM for Phoenix. Obviously, Gateway is like worldwide technology or whatever,
Yep.
and then Charlotte used to be Lowe's Motor Speedway. So like
We also had Sears Point,
Sears
which I
Point,
think I believe Sonoma, when it was
and
called Sears Point, was it was related to the retail brand. I think I'm gonna look that up.
and then after Sears Point, it was Infineon, which I,
Yep, you're
for
right.
my whole life, didn't know that was a brand. I just thought that was like somebody's name or a company or something. Um, I guess a company would be a brand. I thought it was the area that it was in, Infineon. Um,
Nope. I also thought Sears Point was the area that it was in.
yeah. Um,
Yep. Nope.
so yeah, I don't know. What's your thoughts on the brand naming of racetracks?
I mean, honestly, I think everybody made such a like the internet for some reason just made such a stink about it, and it just
Yeah,
makes no sense to me. Like, who cares? Like,
yeah,
I don't think anybody made a stink about it in 2004 or whatever when they called it Lowe's Motor Speedway, right? Like,
yeah,
it's no one's ever cared in the past, and now we paint Atlanta green and slap a sponsor on it, and people are like, ooh. And meanwhile, every NFL stadium in the entire country is sponsored by
yeah.
someone
That was gonna
and
be
is called
my
something else.
that
You know
was
what I
gonna be
mean?
my
Like,
point. Like we don't call all the NFL stadiums like Denver Stadium. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Or
exactly.
or
Like, you know what it is.
Atlanta
Like,
Stadium. It's yeah. That I think that's a no-brainer for a sponsor to do because it's probably a lot cheaper than sponsoring a car.
yeah.
So
I also think if anything, it's a good thing, right? Like
yeah,
people like the fact that
more money.
yeah, the fact that like when Lowe's Speedway went away, it was like now there's like a very small handful of tracks that have a title sponsor or sponsor the track, and now it's like we got another one back. Like, okay, that seems like things are doing well, right? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
agreed.
so I don't understand the big deal that everybody that everybody made about it. At least on the internet. I mean, I know it's the internet, but
And I mean,
you know,
dude, call it Echo Park, call it Atlanta. Everybody knows what you're talking about.
yeah, dude,
Um,
like who cares?
I feel like the ones with like when Phoenix was ISM, that just sounded stupid. I think to me, so we all called it Phoenix.
Yeah, I don't
But
think I ever called it
nobody had a
ISM
problem.
Speedway.
Nobody had a problem calling it Auto Club. No one had a problem calling it Lowe's. So
Exactly.
or
And everyone
Infineon.
called it Charlotte anyway. Like we all, it's the
Yeah,
same thing that happened back then.
everybody knows what you're talking about. Like there are much more important hills to die on.
Yeah.
Um,
Then Atlanta Motor Speedway not being called Atlanta Motor Speedway. Like,
yeah,
I
it's
mean, it still is Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's just Echo Park. Like, it's just something else temporarily.
yeah,
You know, it's
it's
just
yeah,
it's
it's
silly.
love the discourse the discourse online about that. Um,
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
Back to Michigan. Sorry to go off on a tangent, but
Fuel mileage
the
race.
yes, that was we haven't had one in a minute, and
That's sick.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yep.
Um,
It was yeah, it was really really cool. I
Obviously,
just
my guy won, so
yep.
maybe I'm a little bit biased, but no, I'm not. I wouldn't be biased if he lost. Like that was awesome. We love those fuel mileage races. I was upset though when that last caution came out that we wouldn't have green flag pit stops, but
Yeah.
it gave us
I
this long run to the end. So
I liked that, at one point, once it was pretty much a done deal that Hocevar wasn't going to make it, that Fruity just came online and was like, just get after it, William. Like, if we're short, we're short, whatever. Like,
yeah,
I don't care. Like, just get after it and hold Denny off. And he did everything he could and ran out. And I side note, fun fact, Byron running out of gas was the highlight of my day because I may have had a bet in for a Bubba top five, and Bubba was like fifth
mm,
one or sixth when that happened. And then when Byron runs out of fuel, got him right in the top five with like 5 laps to go.
there you go.
And the bet cash. It was a glorious thing.
Beautiful stuff.
It was glorious for my fandom and for my wallet, but you know, all
Yeah,
that
I
bias
had
took him out of my driver of the day runnings. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring myself to do it with that much bias.
yeah. I mean, still fourth for him is solid. He's been having a
Yeah,
pretty good season. Other
yeah,
people in
had
the
a
top
rough little
five.
stretch there.
Ty Gibbs gets a third, which he was pretty
Yeah,
upset after the race.
dude, that was kind of weird, right? Like I don't know. I felt like that was kind of a weird reaction. The fact that he was like so upset about it, like, and
I think it's
was just
because
like,
his teammate won and they were on the same strategy, so he was like,
and he was kind
"Why'd you
of
tell
like,
me
I
to
don't know, like,
save?"
yeah, he's kind of like trashing his guys. He's like, yeah, I was being told to save, and like we didn't need to save, and like blah blah blah. I really wish I could have gone and raced, and I'm like, I don't really like that reaction.
It's just Ty Gibbs being Ty Gibbs. I feel like
Yeah, it just
what he
kind of
had
seems
said.
like you're just kind of blaming your crew for. I mean, you finished third, dude. Shut up. Like you've been finishing like 40th all season.
Yeah,
Like, and you get a third place, and you're like, man, I can't believe I had to save fuel. Like, shut up, dude. Like,
third is good, dude. You can carry that into the following
yeah,
races,
dude.
and I mean,
Also, by the way, the teammate you lost to was Denny fucking Hamlin. It's not like you lost your race to some like someone else. Like,
right?
you lost to like one of the better drivers we've ever seen. Like, shut up.
Yeah, classic Ty Gibbs. Um,
That's my a wow, the rare Ty Gibbs rant. I didn't know I had that in me. Wow.
um,
Actually, I did know I had that in me. What am I talking about?
yeah. I mean, obviously, you've got a
Yeah.
Ty Gibbs, Carson Hocevar, Corey LaJoy rant just ready to
Oh
pop
yeah,
off at any
where'd
point.
Dale Earnhardt finish? Yeah, good race.
Yeah.
Fucking tired of it. Yeah. He did great. It was a great race, but they just didn't put enough fuel in the car. But
I had Carson in my fantasy, and he is the reason why I lost the race because of the fuel strategy. Because
yep.
I think the other guys I had were Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, and maybe Ross or something. Um, so I kind of took a punt on some guys, but yeah. Anyways, I did want
You
to.
know who else took a punt?
Oh yeah,
Not only in the points but in the into the wall. It was
yes,
Alex Bowman, man. Holy shit.
big crash.
Yeah, he's had a rough streak lately. I think he's been like below 30th for like 5 of the last 6 races or something crazy like that. Like,
Really big hit.
I sit there watching. I'm like, I think that Bubba's on a little bit of a cold streak when he's like 3 bad finishes in a row, but this guy is struggling, man. It sucks to see because I like me some Bowman. I don't hate the guy,
Yeah,
and
he like in 2020 and 2021, he was really good, dude.
yeah,
And I don't know if it's the next gen car
he
or
was
maybe
good this season too. I think before the All Star break, he was like,
yeah,
you know, comfortably inside the points, like having a really good season. Just a as expected start to the season, with all the other Hendrick guys right around him, and it's just taking a nosedive, man. Um,
yeah, it's been rough. He's currently what is that? 13 points above the cut line in
mm.
15th. So, um
And like a just a weird wreck that was too. They're 4 wide and whatever, and like I think it was like a Cole came down a little, Austin came up a little, Cindric came up a little, and they got into each other, and somehow that results in Bowman, who was like behind Custer, getting turned head on into the wall full speed. Like that was just kind of a wild accident. It was almost like a iRacing netcode the way that all unfolded so
a little bit,
fast.
yeah. I
It's
remember.
wild.
I think it was either last year or the year before. Cody Ware had a similar crash. In that, I guess it was probably the year before because he didn't race last year. Similar crash in that corner, and it was just like, holy shit, that's a big crash.
Yeah, I mean the
Um,
back end's off the ground, the freaking the safer barrier flexed a whole ton. Like,
yeah.
whew,
Um,
I think they got him on the radio, and he was like, that was a big one. Like, I
I
think
was
that was
happy to
only, I think that
see.
was Bowman's reaction.
I was happy to see in the interview he seemed unconcussed, which was my
Yes,
concern. So
yeah,
that's
he didn't seem jacked up or yeah,
it's a testament to the safety that we have at this point. Because you know, I think 20 years ago that would have been a lot different. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, just huge
And also,
safety.
you know, the safety of this specific car was a talking point like within the last year or so, right? So
Yeah,
like, you know, that's like that's good just to see in general that a big hit like that, you know, something like that a couple years ago without the improvements they made to this car, you know, even as recent as not that long ago could have been something, you know,
yeah,
bad that we're talking about here. So I'm glad
definitely.
he was able to walk away from that and you know, he seems to be okay. Hopefully we don't get some report this week that he's got to sit out or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
On the
but
topic
hopefully he's
of his point
yeah. Go ahead.
situation, um, currently we have 9 winners. Okay, this season, and so that's 7 people on points. He's in 15th. I mean, he's out right now, right? With all these
Yeah,
random tracks we've got coming up,
yeah, I would think so.
he's out. Surely, we're gonna have at least 3 or 4 more winners, I would say, ish. Um, you got Mexico, Sonoma. There's an Atlanta coming up here on TNT, so a lot of wacky tracks coming up. And Watkins Glen is not in the playoffs. That's another one. So yeah, I mean he's not in a great position right now. I would say.
No, he's you know he's got so the only like the only benefit he has is that if he starts turning it around, I think he's faster than the guys you know that are on the edge of the playoffs, right? Like um I think he's got the speed. I'm trying to pull it up right now. I forgot the J ski doesn't have the actual like playoff
The
standings.
ESPN standings actually oddly are the most accurate.
Let's see
They
playoffs.
have
Okay,
the
so he is so yeah, so he's 15th in points, right? But so we're talking Priest, Kyle Busch, Hocevar maybe a little faster, but Dinger, Stenhouse, like so if he can turn it around, he can
I think he
stay
is
in.
faster than
But
those
like you said,
guys.
wins are going to be a problem. But I still think he's you know Briscoe's had an up and down season. Guy can get poles, but can't get you know good results from it. Um, you know Bubba seems to be trending up, and then the guys above him like so. Once we get a couple more winners, it's going to get dicey for him. But
I mean, just
if it
looking at the
comes down to
points,
if it
he
comes
could
down to like go ahead.
he could get Busher and Briscoe in points, but then he's like maybe the last guy in
Yeah.
because he's not going to catch Bubba or Tyler Reddick. They're too far ahead. I would say. Like
He
Bubba's 48 points ahead of him.
he also is a guy, you know, on this list of the guys towards the bottom half of the playoffs. He's a guy who could just randomly go out and win one.
Yeah.
You know, like that's another thing too. Like he it feels like at any given week he could just figure it out and go win one. Obviously lately it's a little bit of a different story, but you never know. He could, you know, he could go out and steal a win there. So
I think that's kind of the point is like he's going to have to win. We got Daytona as
yeah,
well. Daytona's the fucking
that's
finale.
true.
So
That's true.
you got like
I
3 road
mean, things can get
courses
dicey
and
this week,
yeah,
right? Like
3 road courses and 2 super speedways. So, I mean, yeah, he's got to win. I think that's the point of all this. Like anybody,
yeah.
I would say probably anybody below Bubba. You're talking about Briscoe, Busher, Bowman, and Kyle Busch. Briscoe might be able to catch Bubba, but
I think Busher has a better chance of passing Briscoe and getting up there than Briscoe does. I don't know. Briscoe's just kind of had a weird year.
yeah. I mean, I think they're still figuring it out, but
Yeah.
you would never be surprised if they go out and win. Like James Small's good.
No.
Briscoe is
And
good.
it's a Gibbs car, right? So
Yeah. Um,
yeah, that's the thing we're talking about in two of these last spots. We're talking about a Gibbs and a Hendrick car. Like that's wild. Then that's where I look at it and I'm like up against the other guys. I like their chances, but like you said, they just gotta hope that the random winners don't keep happening and or don't start happening. I guess should I say? And and yeah, they got to hang on to this. They just got to start scoring some points. But yeah, they've had a rough stretch, man.
Yeah.
Very, very rough stretch.
We'll see if he can turn it around. I think, like we said, he's probably got to win.
Yeah.
Um,
Before we chat Mexico real quick, I've just been doing for funsies a driver of the day, my personal drivers of the day.
okay.
So I'll run through the list and get your opinion on them. So I have my first driver of the day, Chris Busher. I think that's a great no brainer there.
Yeah, stage win.
Yeah, he did a great job. He just all around just had a great race, stage win, second place. I think he was getting there. I think if he had a little bit of time, like he's he's possibly getting up there and
Yeah.
chasing down Denny. I think he was starting to close.
I
I
think
think
he was
he was
better
good
on
on fuel
fuel.
as
Yeah.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if not better, at least he was going to make it like the same way that Denny was. So, um, so yeah, big shout out to Busher. Great run for him.
Definitely.
He won there a couple years ago, so he knows how to get it done there. My second driver of the day, seventh place, Zane Smith.
Yeah.
What a last couple weeks for him, man.
He's been running good.
Yeah, they've been running really good in that 38 car.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have much to add. I don't really know how his race played out, but seventh place is a good result. And yeah, he's another guy who could just. I mean, he could just go out and win. I mean, anybody can
Right?
really go out and win. We got 5 like random ass races coming up.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Uh, Last but not least was it? I believe he was in my Charlotte list too. It was Eric Jones. Great race for him. Um,
yeah, 11th.
11th place in in that car. That team's been figuring it out slowly but surely. We talk about him. It feels like just about every week with their legacy's just kind of starting to get together slowly. So good on them, and he's kind of carrying the torch there. Even though the
Definitely.
couple of other good runs he had, he didn't get the best finishes. I think Nashville last week he had a really good run, and then
Oh yeah, he
yeah,
got wrecked.
he's yep, yep, and um, yeah, then this week again he winds up to actually get a pretty good finish. So good on him in the 43 car, getting up there in the mix. My honorable mention was Bubba, but like I said, there was too much bias. I like him as a driver, and I had money on him, so I couldn't be like, "What a great drive by him!" Like he was also like top 10 all race, and I try not to pick guys who just like really ran well all race. More like the guys who kind of you don't expect to be up there that run well. So,
Well,
um,
I have one driver of the day,
oh,
and that is Denny Handjob, boy.
okay, yeah,
What a
yeah,
guy.
yeah, he's all right.
Send the hate comments in.
He's
Um,
okay.
moving on to Mexico. What do you
I'm
think generally about
so
this whole thing?
I'm so intrigued. Like
Yeah,
I love this. Like I mean, it's new, so that's like an exciting thing. First of all, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be really cool. It's a cool track. I really like it when they race, the F1 cars there. So,
yeah,
um, I think this is gonna be just as interesting and wild when it comes to like a whole new thing for NASCAR.
yeah. I
Um,
think it's going to be a packed house, I would assume, in
I think
that
so too.
stadium
I hope
section. Like, I
so.
think the environment's going to be awesome. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like probably people outside of the industry, like us, are excited generally. I don't think a lot of people are like upset about it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Um, I think some of the people inside the industry might be like a little annoyed, especially like whose idea was it to have Michigan before Mexico?
Yeah. Right. We
Like that. I mean, that is
couldn't go to Texas or
well. Like we should have done this
any
right after
anything
Charlotte.
south. Yeah.
Should have done it right after Charlotte because they're all
Yeah,
home.
when everyone's home. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
like the
point.
Texas
Yeah.
would have worked better than Michigan, obviously, right? But yeah, why somewhere close to like this made no sense to me because they had to all pack up their shit for Mexico for Michigan. Like I don't understand how that happened. That seems dumb to me. But
Yeah. I'm kind
I'm
of with
I'm
you on
ex-
that.
I'm excited for it. I obviously love the road course racing and yeah, new track. Um, it seems like I, I've seen some clips from when they raced there in the past, and they added this little like chicane on the front stretch. But it
Hmm.
from everything I've seen, that's not there. So that front stretch is going to be super long. Um, and with the altitude and stuff, I think the brakes may be a thing. The brake, maybe
Yeah.
some brake
So
issues.
from what I heard from Freddie earlier was that I guess teams are obviously aware of the brake issues and they're prepared to handle it. So like they have a solution, I believe, for the brakes.
Yeah,
I think just in general the engines. Every time the F1 goes there, that's all they talk about is the elevation and keeping
yeah,
the cars, um, keeping the cars cool at that high elevation. I did remember that I believe Ricky Stenhouse said that it was a lot. It's a lot cooler than he thought it was. Like he thought it was gonna be like already pretty hot this time of year, and he said it was gonna be like around 75 degrees or so. So, um, that doesn't sound like it's gonna be too taxing on the drivers. That's another thing you gotta think of, man. Like the drivers themselves, like they're gonna be going through a lot, man.
yeah,
Getting ready to do this at that level. This is something these guys, most our damn tracks are at sea level just about. So,
yeah.
like
So
going up 7,000 feet and having to do what they do is pretty wild. I'm sure um the training regimen for that's pretty crazy.
yeah, I didn't realize Mexico City. I knew the elevation was a thing. I didn't realize it was 7,300 feet.
Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy.
that's up there. Uh,
Yeah.
I like when I'm flying my Cessna, I'm rarely above that. To be completely fair, like that's way up there.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've done some hiking and walking at like 4 or 5,000 feet, but I've never like that's it's even higher. Like that's like, and I remember how much it affected me. Like snowboarding, like at that height, like it affects you. Like
yeah,
it's yeah, it's pretty wild. It's always like a big thing with like the um with like the like you said the F1 that goes there, the other sports that go there. Golf goes there, and the golf ball flies a mile because the air's so thin.
yeah,
It's just like it's wild. I'm with you. I didn't know it was that high in the air.
yeah.
Um, it's kind of crazy.
So, yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I think the stadium section will be cool. That's something they did not have when they went before.
Hmm.
Um, that's gonna be. We could see some fireworks there for sure. With how slow those corners are. I mean, it's tight, and yeah, you could definitely see some dive bombs.
Another great idiotic thing I've seen bounce around the internet is people saying we should be racing the oval there. It's like a massive flat oval.
Yeah,
Like that would not
it'd be terrible.
there's no way that would be fun.
Are
Like
people
at all.
saying that?
I have seen it before, yes.
Good lord.
Like they have an oval there, aren't there? No, no,
No,
no.
no, no,
We're not doing that. No.
no.
Stop it. Cut it out.
Track limits could be a thing on that little back section before the stadium.
I think a
Uh,
lot of places it's going to be up in the air as to what track limits are because, like, it's an F1. It's one of those Grade One tracks, so there's a lot of runoff. Like,
yeah.
um, that's
So hopefully that doesn't get too annoying. Um,
I honestly, dude, be strict about it. I
yeah,
hope they're strict about it. That'd be kind of cool.
I hope they are
Because
because the way with the thing that annoyed me with Coda was like they had strict track limits on two corners, and then there was that one before the hairpin where they just weren't policing it, and guys were
yeah,
just making up their own racetrack. That is so annoying to me.
yeah.
When they allow the drivers to do that because the drivers are gonna do that,
Oh,
So
exactly.
we have our own issues
But
with
yeah,
that in CRS. But
but I'm looking, at the Google, Google Maps right now. Like, your first turn, there's a huge pavement runoff, right? Are they going to be going real wide there, Watkins Glen style? Honestly, it doesn't look like it
probably
sets you up
not.
really well for turn
Yeah,
two. So, and then it's grass and a lot of grass and straight away. And then when we get down to that first little section of the track, with the kind of weird little wonky chicane thing,
so they're
um,
they're not running
they're doing
that.
the hairpin, right? They're
Yes,
doing
yeah,
the hairpin. Okay, that's what I
yes,
thought. So not a lot of runoff there. There's grass wide, and when you exit the corner, there's not a lot there. Through the S's, there's a ton of runoff, obviously,
yeah.
but
The S's.
really, now that I'm looking at it, there's not a whole lot of places I see guys.
I don't think this maps thing I just pulled it up is super accurate because I think most of this grass in the S's are not there.
that would make sense. This looks like an old picture.
Yeah, so um, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't get too silly. Hopefully they put up like some tire barriers or something. I don't get this whole thing with like oh, that could destroy a car. Yeah, don't run into it. What?
Yeah,
I
problem
mean,
solved.
there's obviously a lot of runoff in the stadium
It's
section,
because
but
our guys like to go 3 wide into, like, hard right-hand corners in NASCAR.
well, just
That's a
don't go that. I mean, don't do that. Don't put
yeah,
yourself in
cut
that
it out.
position.
Cut that out.
Yeah. So I do see the oval here. That would be bad. That would be really bad.
Yeah, like, it's just flat and huge, and I just don't see, yeah, I don't see that being excited
Why does F1 not
or
call this
exciting.
a street race? They call everything else a street race. This is like in the middle of a park.
Yeah, right? This is more of a street race than this is like Albert Park, like,
Yeah,
level,
yeah, I agree.
which they don't call a street race.
Um, yeah, excited. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that we're doing this.
Yeah, I think so too.
Um, hopefully
Something different,
there's
man.
no
It's easy to
issues.
get excited about new stuff.
Yeah, hopefully there's no like issues with. I mean, that's kind of the big talking point. Like, stay in the hotel. I guess I don't
Yeah,
know. I think Mexico City can get a little shisty, but
yeah. But,
um,
I think teams are, working they've either worked their way through the border already or they're doing it, today as we speak, so,
I think they
um,
got through. I think they got
yeah,
through.
they should be I think they're fine.
So that's good.
Seems like an annoying process. I forget who it was, but oh, it was Ricky. It was on I'm so glad I listened to DBC this morning. I have all this info fresh in my head. He said that one time he sent a sprint car team to Canada,
Oh yeah,
and he's like, dude, we had to have like a log of every single nut and bolt that is on the trailer. Like, he's like, it's crazy. So that I'm sure the teams had a lot of work, uh, you know, getting ready for that and dealing with all that.
yeah. I'm sure that was annoying. I would not have wanted to be in charge of that.
Yeah, it doesn't sounds like a lot of paperwork. Sounds like a tough time, but hey, they'll all get there. They're getting there with plenty of time. I assume drivers are going to go down somewhat early to get acquainted to the uh, elevation.
Yeah. Speaking of the drivers, last week's winner may not be racing. Let me see just real
Yeah,
quick on Twitter. It doesn't look like there's any updates. Um, yeah. So he's obviously on baby watch. So if the baby isn't there before he has to leave, he's not going.
yeah, which
Uh,
is kind of wild. That'll open up some waiver issues and blah blah blah.
well, I think
Sounds like it'd be a lot of fun.
I think with I mean, yeah, obviously in the online like Twitterverse it will, but birth of a child is mentioned on the waiver thing. So
Which makes sense. I'm glad that it is.
yes, obviously.
It should be.
So hopefully people don't have an issue with that because that would be really really dumb. But obviously, if
I'm
you're
sure they
gonna have
will.
a
Don't worry.
baby, it's his first son. Like obviously he wants to be there for the fucking birth of like what are we talking about? Obviously.
Exactly. I
Um.
agree.
So we could have Ryan Truex in the car.
That'd be kind of cool.
Still no news on that. So we will
Something to
wait
keep an eye
and
on.
see. Yep. Um, what else you got? We got picks for Mexico. We didn't get to do them last week.
Oh, yeah. I made a pick myself. I made a host of our pick, and it almost paid off for me.
Oh,
But um, let's
you
see.
wasted a host of our pick.
You know, I think also I won't use this guy the rest of the season. I'm gonna go with the hometown kid, man. I think
Ooh,
I think it'd be I think the story of Suarez winning that race would be really cool. One for how his season and his time at Trackhouse lately has kind of been, where people are questioning if he's gonna be back.
yeah,
And
that'd be
just
awesome.
like it would be really cool to see him go out there. Trackhouse is gonna give him the car to do so. I think, why wouldn't you want to give him the best possible chance to win that race in his home country the first time we're there? It'd be so cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
His amigos would lose their mind. It would be awesome. So, um, my pick is for the cool story, and also someone who would just completely fuck up the playoffs. Uh,
Yeah, I have a similar pick. I'm staying in the house, and another person who would severely
yeah,
fuck up the playoffs.
absolutely.
Because you left them open. I feel like I have to. Um, yeah. Do I even
I
need to?
was
Do I even need to
I was
say it?
gonna do it, but I didn't.
I
You
like
know,
the story, but new road course. I have to go with SVG.
Yeah, you do.
Obviously, I think I would be dumb not to if you left him open. But then now you're gonna get him for the other road courses. So um,
I think are those the only two guys who have ever driven this track?
I think they said like McDowell has.
Oh, okay. So maybe Van Gisbergen
Kyle
hasn't
Busch.
done it.
Kyle Busch has won a race there in the Xfinity Series back then, but it was a different layout. So,
Yeah.
um, but other than that, no. I mean,
And I'm looking through the list. I don't see any names that stand out to me
maybe
of guys who have raced
I
there.
think McDowell probably has at some point. Maybe AJ at some point. Like,
Yeah, maybe in like some road racing series or something
yeah.
like that.
But I don't know. I mean,
I mean,
Suarez.
Catherine Legg has a chance that she's driven there, to be honest.
Yeah. She could have a good run, but she's in the tractor, dude. I mean, that's not a good car.
No, I got it. Yeah, it's 78 cars.
So, I
It's a
mean,
thing.
yeah, I don't know if she finishes like top 25, that'd probably be a huge day. Um, in that car. So I'm excited. I'm gonna
Absolutely.
try to. I think the Mexico Series is racing there too, so try to watch that. I think
Oh,
Suarez
that's
is
cool.
racing in every race. So,
I like his chances even more now.
yeah, I think he's doing Mexico race and Xfinity and Cup. So,
I know there's a
um,
few guys doing the Xfinity race
I think
from Cup.
SVG is as well.
Yes, you got Suarez, Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell.
Mm.
Um, no SVG actually.
No Chevy guys.
Yeah, no SVG.
Hmm. Interesting. He doesn't need it.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Uh.
There is a TBA in Joey Gase Motorsports is number 35. You never know.
Oh yeah. Could be. Could be somebody. Is that a Chevy?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll
You never
see.
know.
Um. Yeah, looking forward
That's all
to
I
it.
got.
Mexico, Andale. I'm excited. Hopefully, I'll
See.
be able to watch the race. It's also Father's Day, so get your dads a gift.
Yeah, I'm
I
a little
think we're doing
nervous
like a
because
lunch
it
thing, so I don't know if I'll be able to watch the entire race, unfortunately. But it's on Prime.
it
I can just watch it later.
see. Yeah, it's also US Open week, so it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a second
Oh,
screen race for me, unfortunately, because
really?
yeah, the golf majors will take over a
Okay.
race in day of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's only three because the British the Open over in the UK takes place in the morning because of the time difference. It's like F1. So
It's the British Open and the U.S. Open this week.
no, it's just the US Open. But I'm just saying when it comes British Open time, I don't miss anything because the final round happens in the morning.
Okay. Do you
So
want
it's
to
already
talk
done by
about
the
the
time.
U.S. Open here for a little bit for our golf people?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have a lot on it. It's gonna be wild.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna
Maybe
be
I'll
really
throw the
hard.
U.S. Open on a second screen. Maybe I'll get into
There you
golf.
go. There you go. It's gonna be
Um.
a good week for it. The golf course is gonna kick everyone's ass.
Yeah. Isn't this the one where they like? It's a hard course, so the pros are like above par most of the time.
Yeah, there's been multiple times in the history where the U.S. Open has been won with like a over par score over 4 days, which
That's
is
right.
crazy for those guys. When on a weekly basis they're winning at 20 and 25 under
Mm.
through 4 days. So yeah, it's a great week. It's a beautiful thing.
All right. Well,
Yep.
exciting sports week. Um. Yeah. You got anything else? I think we're.
Go Pacers. Eat shit, Aaron. That's all I got. I think.
Oh, I'm going for the Thunder. I think I have to. I'm like 2 hours away from Oklahoma City.
Yeah, that's right. I guess you kind of do.
You're going for the Halaman?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Good sports weekend. Enjoy it. If you enjoyed, follow the podcast, leave a review. Shout out to Judd. He's always leaving comments and stuff. Give him some company in the comments section. Let us know your thoughts on Michigan and Mexico and Richmond and Kansas for CRS. So hope y'all enjoyed. We will talk to y'all next week. See you.
Oops.